Peace, everybody. Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and today we're going to talk about tonight's super middleweight fight, basically for the top contender to the Canelo Alvarez sweepstakes, who's currently the champion at 168 pounds. And that fight is between Benavidez-Andrade and David Benavidez. So we have two very talented, very skilled fighters vying for a shot at the best guy in the division, and we should get a very good fight. Also on that card, we got your Maul Charlo fighting Jose Benavidez Jr., brother of David Benavidez, and we have a couple other good fights on this card. So you might want to tune in early. I know probably by the time we get this one out, it'll be like a couple hours before fight time. But the tactics discussed will be good to know before you watch that fight. So let's get into it. David Benavidez, undefeated knockout artist, last seen taking a 12-round unanimous decision against Caleb Plant in a very good fight as well. On most betting books and expert takes, is the favorite of this fight. He's the more active fighter. He has the more notoriety. Recently, he's been in there with a little bit higher competition. So all of those things are in his favor. Whereas Andrade has been a little inactive lately. He's only had one fight in the last 2 years. He maybe fights 1 to 2 times a year for the last 10 or so years. So, and also he has been fighting off of the higher viewed television outlets. So he's not on HBO. You know, HBO Boxing folded. He was a staple on there. He was on ESPN pretty often until, you know, they kind of went more promoter centric. So like, you know, they've been pretty much doing Top Rank boxing only. And, you know, so because he's not with Top Rank, he hasn't been on there. He hasn't been with the Premier Boxing Champions, which has left him off of Showtime. He did fight Jason Quigley on DAZN, which is more of a European outlet, especially for the boxing. Like, they do a lot of the overseas shows. They do a lot of the Anthony Joshua's, the Usyks, you know, guys that are well known on across the pond, as they say, across the Atlantic Ocean. So the U.S. eyes haven't been on Andrade as much as they have been on Benavidez. That doesn't mean that Andrade is not a good fighter, because those who have seen him fight know that this guy has skills. And he has the skills to give Benavidez trouble. Whether he can do that over 12 rounds or less is the question. So let's talk about Andrade. Andrade is a southpaw. He has, I would say, underrated power. He has just above a 50% knockout ratio, but he fights in a style that can get his opponent's respect and attention and not get him walked down like someone who has a smaller knockout ratio. One of the things that we notice that could be taken advantage of, or could be something that he can use to his advantage, it really depends on, you know, how this fight goes and if we can see that fight IQ of Benavidez evolve from this fight. Andrade, like I said, fighting out of the southpaw stance, he doesn't really throw a straight 1-2 like you would normally see from a boxer in any stance, honestly. And one of the reasons for that is he keeps his feet really wide. And because of that, it makes it easy for him to pivot and kind of jump out of the way of punches. So he uses his feet in that manner. But when he throws that left hand, instead of going straight down the middle like, you know, the typical boxing punch goes, he throws a looping shot. But also, because of his feet being so wide, he usually ends up falling in and kind of being off balance with that punch. But what he normally does is he will throw it, duck down, and move out of the way to either direction, really depending on which way the fighter responds to that punch. But he'll throw it, duck, and roll, and then be back to where he needs to be. So one of the questions is, can Benavidez take advantage of that with, say, an uppercut, a hook as he's coming around, or like a low body shot, or if he's rolling outside to his left into a Benavidez punch. So if he's rolling to his right, he can go right into a Benavidez left or uppercut, and the opposite direction, right hand. So I think that's going to be something that Benavidez, like I said, if that fight IQ picks that up, he can take advantage of. Or on the Andrade side, that's something that he can use to score and then get out and make Benavidez reset several times over the course of the fight. Benavidez keeps a high guard and he likes to catch and block punches as he comes in. Benavidez has very fast hands and he throws in combination very well. So with that being said, what he wants to do is to get Andrade to the ropes, cut off that movement, cut off his ability to pivot, cut off his ability to move laterally, and fire those combinations to wear down and hurt him and eventually come off with a stoppage. We don't see Benavidez as that one punch knockout guy, but that pressure and the constant threat of punches coming from Benavidez usually wears his opponents down and also starts to bring him back on the scorecards where in early rounds he may be getting outboxed. And conventional wisdom says this is what we see here, is that Andrade comes out, he uses his footwork, he uses his fast hands, he uses that awkward left that he throws to get some rounds in the bank as Benavidez starts to get that timing down and begins to either, if he can take the power of Andrade, he'll start to just accept that punch in order to get his combinations off and back Andrade up into the corner. One of the things that Rob and I talked about was Benavidez not really cutting off the ring. He walks you down, but he doesn't really cut off the ring. And because he's just constantly coming towards you, you just end up kind of capitulating in the corner or on the ropes, and he just comes to you and gives you the business. He wasn't able to do that to Caleb Plant until late, but he kind of like waited on Plant, and as Plant slowed down, he was able to walk to him and start to land those combinations, start to land some harder punches. But to Caleb Plant's credit, he did not fall completely. So that's something that we want to look out for in this fight. Can Benavidez close that distance, land those combinations, get a highlight reel stoppage to really get the attention of Canelo so they finally have a fight? They have been going back and forth for years, and this is the type of fight on pay-per-view that should get him the eyeballs and the statement needed to finally get in the ring with Canelo. There really aren't too many people left at 168. Jermall Charlo, who missed weight by 3 pounds, is probably going to be heading up, but Canelo just beat Jermell Charlo, his twin brother, who came up 2 divisions from 154 to 168 to challenge him. So that's another fight that we can have on the books if this one doesn't happen. Or can Andrade upset all of that? Andrade has been known to catch people. Can he catch Benavidez early and put a solid lead on the scorecards, and then once Benavidez comes on, hang on enough to win? Or does he surprise everyone and just dominate Benavidez en route to getting this victory? He has the skill to do that. And one of the things that, people knock him on, and something I alluded to earlier, was that the level of competition that he's fought has not been the same as someone like, the same references they made to Terrence Crawford are saying his resume isn't that great. Errol Spence has a better resume, which means he's going to win. And we see how that worked out. So this is Andrade's time to step up and show out. And can he do it? Rob and I are both under the impression that unfortunately he does not. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability to do so. So we're looking at Benavidez coming from behind, and I believe he's going to score a late stoppage. But it's up to Andrade to upset that thinking. And a lot of people are going Benavidez either by late round knockout or unanimous decision, carrying the fight, starting to come on late as the fight goes on. So let us know what you think. Hit us up in the comment section below. How do you think Benavidez or Andrade wins this fight? Are you excited for this fight? Unfortunately, this is the last fight of Showtime Boxing. They are closed their sports division. And last week, we got the last Bellator MMA card on Showtime as well. So it's the end of an era. A lot of the premium cable outlets are doing different things. However, we see Amazon Prime doing MMA. We see possibly one of the other streaming platforms doing that. ESPN has transitioned theirs to streaming. They don't do a lot of shows on the actual channel anymore, as far as I know. I cut the cord a while ago, but I'm still able to catch a lot of those shows because they are digital, and I have like Hulu, so neither here nor there. But like I said, let us know what you think. Hit the like button. I'm sure you liked what you heard in this video. Hit the subscribe icon, subscribe button, and the bell icon to get the updates from Rob and I. And hopefully we're going to do not only a recap of this fight, but another episode of Bourbon and Boxing, where we sit around and be a little bit less formal, drink some alcohol, and talk some fights. So we'll see you in the next episode. And until then, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.